Counselor, do I take a vote?
The executive session.
Executive session.
Yep.
I'd like a motion to close the executive session. A motion by Commissioner Santoro. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kutsiani. All in favor of exiting out of executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Motion to seal the minutes by Commissioner Santoro.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hogan. Any discussion? All in favor of sealing the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. All right. Opening the regular meeting of the Cumberland Fire District. Although this is not the regular meeting, this is a special meeting of the Cumberland Fire District as a result of our budgeting process. Callie, at this opportunity, we talk about a vote.
You can do the pledge of allegiance and then do the vote if you like.
Perfect. If we could, you know what, we got to start, sorry, everyone. Sorry, sit down. Let's do a roll call, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, my goodness gracious. Sorry. Commissioner Hayden has been excused, is not present. Commissioner Kutsiani?
Present.
Commissioner Santoro?
Present.
Commissioner Hogan?
Here.
Commissioner Picone?
Here.
Commissioner Jones?
Here.
And myself. If we could rise, Pledge of Allegiance, and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'd like to report out a vote that we took in executive session to hire counsel. And the vote passed 5-1 for Commissioner, God, I'm doing that again. Solicitor Sinapi. So he has received the majority of the votes, so he is the new counselor. And a resolution will be put forth on next Tuesday.
May 7th.
May 7th. I'd like to take this moment to thank everyone on the Personnel Subcommittee, and certainly, especially, Solicitor Morris for spending time with us these last few years. And I'm sorry that you are no longer our solicitor. I look forward to working with Mr. Sinapi, but I do appreciate everything that you have done for us as this Board of Fire Committee. So, Kelly, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You've been a great help to me as I learned how to become a chairperson. So, thank you.
I just want to say that
He had to say that when Commissioner Picone asked, why are you doing this? It's the same reasons. I really, really enjoy doing municipal work, and I think I don't know him at all, but I just liked his response to that he really enjoys it. It's not the money. It's representing elected municipal board members. So thanks for spending 4 years with me too.
Thank you.
You're right down the road, Kelly. You know the way to find you. You're right down the road, across the hall.
So I noticed that before we begin the explanation of the FY20 budget, I just want to say a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to thank the members of the Finance Subcommittee for their work on delivering us a budget that I believe to be reasonable and fiscally responsible. It was not an easy task. As we know, we are all facing some financial difficulties which are being addressed certainly now and will continue to be addressed for the next 4 years. Secondly, as we enter into year 3 of a 5-year plan, we will make sure that spending is monitored, that we stay within the budget, and we will continue to find ways to save money, but will most importantly continue to provide the citizens of Cumberland with timely responses and quality care. Thirdly, there have been rumors and suspicions that we would close stations or lay off firefighters. We absolutely do not have any intention of doing that. That is not in the plan, and I believe the committee would not agree to such extreme measures. Finally, we have been talking about overtime costs as the only financial culprit in our budget woes. I must remind everyone that yes, overtime has been a concern, but there are a variety of other reasons for us being at this point in the budget. We are entering into year 5 of this merged fire department, and as elected board members, we have tried to address the needs of the fire department fiscally, but in hindsight, there were times we should have gone into different directions. This puts us in a position, but I would like to tell everyone that moving forward, we will make more thoughtful decisions, ask better questions, and work as a team to make sure the budget remains stable and grow. I would also like to thank Diane Karolishin, who has spent countless hours working on this budget, and also take this opportunity to thank her for years of service she has given to the Cumberland Fire Committee. This is going to be her last budget presentation, so Diane, thank you very much for the work that you have done, stepping into the finance position, kicking and screaming, I might add, but you have done a fine job, and I appreciate everything that you have done, so thank you very much. All right, Commissioner Pacone,
Hey,
I turn it over to you.
thank you. So for those of you who have been here before and been in the audience or up here before, we're going to proceed pretty similarly. You're not the only one that can't talk today. The same, thank you. I guess so. So similar to last year, we're going to go through the categories. Once we're done with the category, this is going to be a speak now or forever hold your peace situation, or at least until Thursday. We're not going to go back to any categories, so if you have any questions, please ask them. So we will start off with revenue. We're anticipating increased revenue to $7.8 million. Just to hit 1 or 2 high points there, we are factoring in a 98% collection rate when we're determining our revenue. In the past, we've factored it with a 100% collection rate, and advice from our finance director is that's not realistic. We are not going to collect 100% of our taxes next year as much as we would like to. So budgeting off of a 98% rate is a little bit more realistic. What's that? 98. Yep, 98. So we're anticipating for this year, and we're going to anticipate 2020 being the same. Increase in other income as well from $702,000 to $733,000. Details are on the second page of your budget. If you're so inclined to ask any questions.
I do. The 4115 increased from 30 to 85,000 from tax sales.
Yes.
Just wondering how we came at such a large increase from one year to the next.
So the tax sale income is an offset, so there's a line item for a similar charge later in the budget that you'll see. Last year, we used a more arbitrary number because we didn't have a baseline to work from. This year, we're anticipating about $85,000 for tax sale fee income, but you're also going to see, like I said, an offset for the same amount later in the budget.
Okay.
So we have more data to work from this time, so we're able to give a more accurate number.
Okay, and the grant income 4103?
That's from the SAFER grant for the 2 additional firefighters.
Okay. And IOD reimbursement, that 100,000, 4110.4?
Right. So we have a policy that covers injured on-duty firefighters. The premium is $150,000. We were anticipating for 2018 to 2019 to use the entirety of that. We did not, well, we're not on pace to reach that. We're realistically going to hit around 100,000, so that's what we budgeted for fiscal year 20. Again, one of those things where we have more data to work from. 2 years ago was an anomaly. We did take in more than the 150,000, but we don't foresee that happening. But you know, IODs are not something that we can predict either, so.
Sure. Thank you.
Mr. McComb, just for clarification and explanation, the item known as 4111, Income Radio Box 2018 at 38,200 for the proposed budget, it's 0. 4111, Income Radio Box. Maybe just an explanation, or?
Actually, Diane, do you remember that one? Because I,
Two lines down at 4114, Radio Box 2019.
Okay.
And that has increased because there are about 5 more radio boxes that have come online, I believe, Chief?
Yes.
My understanding, so we increased that number.
any other questions on revenue? Okay, close that section. Oops, sorry.
A couple of last-minute changes.
Sure.
For 4105, reimbursed insurance, former employees, that number has changed. Beth and I reviewed a lot of these numbers again today. That number should be 39,300.
So we increased from 29,000?
From 29,600 to 39,300. And one other. Detail reimbursement, which is 4110.3. That 30,000 we determined to be high, and we'll reduce it to 22,000. 22,000. Personnel.
Okay.
Okay.
And does that change the bottom line then, or is it basically
It will change the bottom line for that category, and
About $1,000 off.
about 1,000?
Just about.
there are some other modifications I'm making that will offset some of this as well when we get to them.
Just for clarification, thank you.
Okay. All right, so we'll move on to equipment maintenance and repairs. Due to some predicted increases in fuel and repair, we're increasing this line item from $226,000 to $247,000. Any questions, comments, feedback on equipment maintenance and repairs?
The turnout gear, 20,000. We have to buy 5 sets of turnout gear? Is that in this 18 budget, or is it in 19's budget?
We're predicting flat. We're keeping that at 20,000.
For new turnout gear, is that turning over? So I know the 5 hirees, they're going to get turnout gear based on the 18-19 budget,
Yep.
correct?
Right. We're also budgeting for replacing old gear as well,
We're going to replace, so we're still doing like, what's it, 5 sets?
as needed.
Just as needed?
Right.
Okay.
Chief, any comment?
We will be doing 2 sets of turnout gear out of the 18-19. We will be doing 3 sets for the other 3 rookies that won't be going on apparatus until they're done the school. So the additional 3 will come out in 19-20.
Thank you, Chief.
And then we would like to get on a program of repetitive replacement, because prior gear was all bought with a grant, and we need to step into it in case we don't get a grant when it reaches its 10-year shelf life. So to stagger purchasing 48 sets or 51 sets at one time, we need to step into this.
How much is each set of gear?
For a new set,
Turnout gear.
last bid was $26.25.
Okay.
The rookies are a little bit higher because we have to do helmets, gloves, boots. The coat and pan is $26.25 with suspenders.
Okay. Thank you, sir. 2,600.
Any other public comment?
Step up to the... Come on, Greg. Name and address, please.
Oh, yeah, Greg Dickomitis, 44 DeSoto Street. Chief, any of that, or actually, I have to address you. Any of that $20,000 for turnout gear fall under the grant of $101,000? Nothing, that's just for the state and state?
And benefits.
Okay.
Because we're a municipal department.
Same rule.
Go ahead, Chief.
Because we're a municipal department under the FEMA Safer Grant guidelines, turnout gear is not covered for us. If we were a volunteer department, then they would cover the physicals and they would cover the turnout gear.
Okay, adding to that, and I don't know if we can continue with that. Out of the $101,000 for that, from the grant, how long does that cover for the salary for the firefighters?
That's covered
that's
for
1
3
year.
years.
That's still,
3
Right,
years.
So,
you said 1, he said 3,
Right.
so I'll go with him.
we meant the same thing. So,
Okay.
so the 101,000 is just for fiscal year '20. We will get appropriations for that grant each year.
Okay,
That's not a
now,
one-time deal.
going one step further to that, is there a line item for the salary budgeted for those other firefighters coming in?
It's included with the salaries for the firefighters.
Okay, thank you, that's
Sure.
what I needed to know.
Greg, just to be clear, those firefighters are filling in for vacancies. Right. The other two. You got that?
Hi, Ted Vecchio, Ralco Equipment. Number 6101, vehicle repair and maintenance increased from 85 to 100,000. And I was just wondering, does that include things like happened to Engine 5 where it needed that big work at Greenwood?
That particular one wouldn't be included. That was covered in the 18-19 budget.
No, I mean, if, say,
But
something
those
like that
type of
happened
repairs?
again, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, continue.
All right, let's keep moving. Utilities, slight increase there. Any public comment from the board? It was fairly self-explanatory, I believe. Come on up.
I don't have to state my name again, right? Cynthia, I have to state my name again?
Yes.
Okay, Greg Dickomitis, 44 DeSoto Street. Of both of those hydrant fees, I just want to reiterate something Commissioner Santoro said last meeting. We need to get somebody from this board to contact PWC and the Pawtucket Water to get this taken care of. Almost $400,000 in hydrant fees. That's crazy. And this district is paying for that. We need to have somebody look at that again. And I know we've discussed this before, and we can't not pay it. But $400,000, we need to start looking at that. We need to get somebody over there and say, hey, it's time to talk.
So Greg, our new solicitor has some experience in that.
Oh, I said, are you a solicitor? I said, no. Yeah,
Okay?
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
We also agree with you on that. Any other further public comment? Okay.
So moving on, contracted salaries, slight increase here from 6.49 million to 6.57. That includes the 2 Safer Grant firefighters that are going to be in addition to our normal platoon. We're hoping that they can cover some overtime shifts and reduce that. As a result, we were actually able to lower our expected overtime wages by about 180,000 for that time period. There were some increases in other areas, and there is also an offset in the revenue to cover 100,000 that's from the grant. So, any public comment, questions?
Commissioner Pacone, line 6430, is that, we're going, 1819 was 2,000? 19 to 20 is 18,000, is that correct, or am I misreading this somehow?
That's correct. That's for the academy, for the newer firefighters.
Thank you.
I believe there's 2, Chief, 2, or is there 3 that will be at the academy for this period?
No, those are being paid in 1819, the academy.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I thought that was the idea of the 2 that are in now, 1819, and
Oh, no, all 5. All 5 are paying for an 1819.
No, we haven't. Oh, yes, we are.
We are.
so why is that 1920?
6430 is for education for the firefighters, and it's a contractual item that we pay up to $18,000 for an education reimbursement. That's not for the training academy.
Thank you.
We didn't budget for all of it last year, but we need to. It's a contractual item.
And I think, Diane, last year, how much did we spend in education? 2,500 or 4? Well, we had to pay the EMT chief, right? We got hit with the EMT recert all at once last year, right, chief?
Right.
So,
Last year, we paid,
or this current year?
between training and the EMT recert, it was about 6,200. Hang on, let me get that exact line item. Yeah, I stand corrected. It was about 9,200 between the trainings that we sent out, we sent members to, and the EMT recertification.
And that was an abnormally high year, because it's every 3 years?
Correct.
Okay. So, I mean, while I completely encourage all of our guys to go and get further education, I mean, taking college courses, going to the fire academy in Pennsylvania, whatever it is, you know, I'm all for that 100%. I'm not sure if the 18,000 that Mr. Hogan pointed out.
Commissioner, if I could give you a little back history on that number?
Sure.
When we first negotiated this in the contract, I believe there were a few firefighters who were working on their bachelor's and master's degrees. So we felt that 18,000 was an adequate cost to provide the firefighters with tuition reimbursement at that time.
Okay.
So, and it is contractually funded. I think it's important that we offer firefighters, as you said, opportunities to attend at the National Fire Academy classes and to get advanced degrees if they need them or work on their bachelor's. So,
Couldn't agree more. Thank you.
Anything else on salary?
This one might be easy. Greg Dickomedes, 44 DeSoto Street. I noticed there's no injured on duty salaries. Where is that covered? Is that covered under 4110-4 for the year? Or is it built in somewhere else? So 6400-13, is that covered under 4110-10-4? Is that under the IOD reimbursement?
Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, is that paid out of our normal salaries? The IOD firefighters?
It is, but it's listed on the...
Up to 28 days we pay, and then after that, the IOD policy kicks in at that point, and they pay 80%.
Okay, so that would fall under regular contracted salaries?
Firefighter salaries, yeah.
.01.
Okay, one other one, if you just bear with me for a second, because I lost it. I can't find it, so we'll have to go back to it. Thank you.
We track the expense of the 6400-13. We budgeted at 0 because it's an unknown, and it's a reimbursement number from the insurance company.
wanted to see where it was fully reimbursed from that to 64.
80% after 28 days of the IOD status is reimbursed. That's what our policy allows for.
Is it 28 or 21?
28.
28 days? And have we had anybody out this year more than 28 besides the...
Don't say anything.
We've had good luck.
Don't even bring it up.
Fortunate in 2019.
Too late now.
Sorry, I brought it up.
Don't even talk about it anymore. Moving along.
All right. Anything else on salary, or are we?
Yes, I have one amendment. Payroll tax expense, line 6401. Beth redid those numbers today because I had changed the OT numbers, so that number now should be 337084. That's a difference of, it is, and that's a difference of $14,999.
6401. Mm-hmm.
Tax expense.
337084.
Okay. Remember?
Just remember.
All right. Just needed Diane to jog your memory.
Oh, yeah. Question, firefighter's salary, and I know I'm going to open up a can of worms here. Is this a realistic number going forward, even though we have a contract coming up?
It is the most realistic number we have to work with. Sorry to be obtuse. So right now we have, we're completely hired up. We have the extra 2 firefighters from the SAFER grant. We need to maintain that number throughout the year in order to stay eligible for the SAFER grant, so we'll maintain that number of staffing throughout the year. So the salary itself is accurate. If there are any changes due to the new collective bargaining agreement, then we'll make an amendment as appropriate, but as of right now, that's...
Okay,
that's
that, I was throwing caution to the wind, that's all, because I know the contract is coming up, and we'll have a conversation about that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to retiree expenses. We're increasing to $199,000 just based off of increases for healthcare and the COLA for the retirees. Any public comment?
I have a amendment. Because we just had another firefighter retire, and now he's well, on disability, he's considered in the retiree healthcare plan. So 6510.01 should be 177,400.
400.
Correct. And 6510.04, healthcare dental retirees, should be 7,375.
So I guess that accounts for what we just made up in payroll taxes?
Right.
We actually still end up with a positive net effect of all these changes when we're finished, so it's not that bad.
Any other public comment?
So the subtotal now is?
209,710.
Thank you.
We don't have to add anything to the COLA for that person?
Please.
We don't have to add, we don't have to add the COLA? Yeah?
No, he was not a Valley Falls employee.
Okay.
The COLA is only for the Valley Falls employees.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Any other comment?
What's the new number? 209?
209,710.
209,710?
Administration covers our administrative salaries, so it's the chief's salary and the non-firefighter personnel, as well as their benefits and payroll taxes. Slight decrease there, and believe that is because we decreased staffing in the office. Is that correct?
I do have one small change.
That section, but the net effect is 0 on that category. So 6610.02, healthcare copays, should be a minus $20,107. And healthcare dental admin, 6610.04, should be 5,758.
Brings the new total to
The same.
the same.
Any questions on administration? All right, administrative expenses, an increase here. Commissioner Santoro, I believe it was you that asked about the increase in the tax sale fee. The offset is here, in 6725. So that's where the offset is.
Thank you.
So that's accounts for a significant amount of the increase. Any questions?
Do we really need to anticipate $30,000 more for the CBA into next year?
I think it's
Have we used up the 30,000 from 18-19?
I would say it's prudent to have it and not need it. If we don't end up needing it, we can reallocate to a different area. But I wouldn't reduce that number.
Okay.
Any further questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
This is an anticipation question. I know that we are going to have to move to a new visions format, correct?
Yes.
Have we put money in for this year?
Yes, that is.
To put aside for that?
Yes.
Okay.
That's line 6709.02.
Okay, thank you.
So we're expecting the new software in about 5 years. We got a quote of about $50,000 for that software. So $10,000 per year will get us what we need.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, we're,
And that will not be touched?
No.
the grants, 6713, where it says grants matching funds?
Yep.
62,965.
We're required to match a portion of the SAFER grant, so that's the line item that you see here.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's it. Each year we have to match them for the 3 years.
Right.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Can we explain why the bank service fee went up dramatically? Is that the TANs? No.
No,
I'm
that-
sorry,
that's the-
6730. I apologize.
Oh, that stayed the same. The number you're looking at is the tax sale fee, 6725.
Okay.
That's the one that increased.
Oh, I'm sorry, tax sale fee, correct. All right,
It's because that last line item has
Yes.
0. So.
thank you. My mistake on that.
Any other changes, questions on administrative expenses? Okay. Employee expenses, an increase in our drills and training budget. Otherwise, no changes there.
Is that because of the academy, because of the academy?
That's not academy. That was the optional trainings that they're able to do.
What was that for?
Those are trainings that the firefighters are able to do, drills and training, in addition to the normal training.
Why did it go up like $10,000 in 1 year?
That's line 6905.01.
Chief?
I think that's a little high.
Are we outsourcing some of this, or can we do some of this in-house?
No, when the subcommittee looked at it, we had expensed $9,781.78 in all of our training endeavors that we participated in, EMT recertification, the Fire Academy in Gettysburg. So in their decision-making process, they decided to go to $12,500 to cover the expenses, seeing that they figure it would be about similar next year with the amount of recruits that we're hiring.
But the, if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, the recruits we hire have to be an EMT to apply, right?
Correct.
So they're already EMTs, that's not going to be incurred. And the going to the academy, we have nobody going to the academy in 2019-20.
Not that we know of yet.
I mean, even if it came up, I mean, I can see using the data from 18-19 because we had $9,000 in academy fees, and every 3 years, the EMT cards are 3 years, right?
They are correct.
So the EMT IC hit us with, all of a sudden, this EMT research. So all 48, or how many, all 45 members we have left, all the EMT cards are up to date for the next 3 years.
They are.
So that $6,000 we paid should not happen again until,
Well, on that specific issue, there is some additional training that these 5 recruits will be doing once they get out of the academy, rapid intervention training and some additional rope training.
but don't we have some of our members who work at the fire academy who can do this in-house?
We
for
have
free?
members that work at the fire academy. If they're on shift, filling a position on shift, it's not conducive to training where if they're in the middle of an evolution, they have to respond to an alarm.
But can't they come back in and do it off shift?
And that's where the overtime money comes in, which is attributed to the training account.
It just seems like that number seems to be reacting to 18-19. I could see cutting it in half, to 6,000. Seems a little more realistic because we don't have anybody going to the academy. I don't believe, and I don't.
We reduced it last year in preparation of trying to establish a stabilization fund, and as you see, we failed dramatically in that line item. The subcommittee is just looking for a solid number for each category that we can maintain throughout the fiscal year.
The other thing is we don't want to discourage other firefighters from training as well. I believe we had an instance this year where a firefighter was denied a training that I think was less than $50, and it got declined because of the current budget situation. We don't want that to happen again this fiscal year, so we want to make sure that they get all the training that they need and that they want, so.
I'm all in favor of more training. The more training, the way you train is the way you operate at fires. 135 fires a year, they should be trained. They train every week, every Tuesday. I hear them on the radio. They go out, Dana, they train hard. and our guys train very, very well. I want to encourage that.
So I don't really think that $12,000 in a $8 million budget is going to be a huge issue
Okay,
in our total budget, and training is incredibly important.
absolutely.
Quick question. Excuse me. 6905.01, 6905.02, totally different animals? So you got 12,500 for that and another 2,500 for, what is the difference? It's training, isn't it? I know it's, well, one is what, fire protection, the other is EMS?
Right.
So that would be cardiac certifications and stuff, or?
O2 is strictly for EMS training. Whether it's a specific item that is required by the state or an optional item that some employees choose to participate in. For that, we could consider ice rescue or cold water swift recovery rescue. And also the fire prevention that's part of that, the first FP, that fire prevention is specific to that for training. We have 5 fire marshals that have to do consecutive hours as part of their ongoing renewal over a 3-year period. Some of those classes are provided for, others there's a cost for that they participate in to get their collective hours.
Thank you.
Ready to move on? Okay. Other, just an increase of $1,000 to the contingency fund. Everything else we're expecting to remain the same. Any comment? Okay. General reserves account, we have no money able to be budgeted for that section. Yeah. In addition, the deficit repayment account is not able to be funded at this time. And we reduced capital improvements on the last item here from $25,000 to $13,871. And I suspect we might have a change to that?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I've increased that to $20,695.
Okay.
That's line 7310.
20,695?
Correct.
We're expecting that some of our stations may need some updates in the future. That's why we budgeted that money to capital improvements rather than general reserves or the deficit repayment account. So we wanted to make sure that we allocated it to the proper place. Any capital improvements questions?
Not capital improvement, but how about deficit in the same kind?
What, I'm sorry?
I got the one on.
Come to the,
I'm going to try to address, Greg Dickomitas, 44 DeSoto Street. I want to address the deficit repayment account. What we're about to hear after we get done with this is a letter from the Auditor General stating that we need to get something which is not going to be favorable to this district. Why wasn't something put in there even as a temporary stopgap or whatever, part of this budget?
So this is, we're doing the budget a little earlier than normal in order to have a finalized budget in order to get the TAN, our tax anticipation notice for this year.
I gotcha.
Got me again. So we are submitting the budget before we normally do, which means we're leaving some areas that we're planning for in the near future, but we don't have the information that we need just yet. So there is a plan. We are planning on addressing the deficit and being able to repay it. At this time, with the information that we have, this is the best we have.
Okay, so my next question will be, is it advisable to present this at a first hearing when this is not going to be the budget?
No, this is the budget as we have, as it stands right now. This is the budget we have.
Okay, so on the next meeting, we're going to have a different budget in front of us, correct?
We're going to have something with the changes that Diane has made today, and as far as I know, that's the only change we'll have.
Okay, and can you tell me when the final vote on the budget would be? Because I don't remember.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Diane, what's the bottom line number? How does it?
Number is $8,606,301.
I make a motion to accept the budget as proposed by the Finance Committee.
Well, wait a minute.
Or they draft me?
This is just a public hearing, don't take any votes tonight. No votes.
Those no votes tonight?
No votes tonight.
We have to make a motion for the amendments that she added? The changes?
If I were you, I would wait until before the next, in case there are others, and then, because you want to vote twice on the same budget. So I would wait until the
Thursday?
beginning of next meeting, and if there are no further amendments, then you make those, she can literally submit an A, and you can adopt it, because you've already talked about it. That's what I think you should do.
Okay. Thank you.
Because there may be others, right? Possible.
Probably not for me, but I don't think so.
So,
You never know.
I'll set with that also. There is a letter from the Office of the Auditor General that was delivered that was sent on April 18th. And the Auditor General is acknowledging that we need to eliminate fiscal year deficit of $282,712 as reported by the audited financial statements. And they're requesting a plan for us, and I had been talking about a game plan and the plan to reduce the deficit. And and as one of the general public mentioned, that deficit reduction amount is not there, and as Commissioner Pacone explained, that it will be there, but we need to gather more information in order to achieve it. So what the Auditor General is looking for is the elimination of the accumulated year-round deficit over no more than 5 years in equal or diminishing amounts, number one. Number two, indicate the necessary governmental approvals obtained and the necessary procedures to implement the deficit reduction plan. And number three, include a legal opinion from legal counsel that the proposed actions of the plan are permissible under federal, state, and local law. They are aware that an additional operating deficit is currently projected for 2019, and they are recommending follow-up meetings to discuss the draft deficit reduction plan and ongoing efforts to avoid an operating deficit for 2019 and development of the district's proposed budget for fiscal 2020. So that's what the Auditor General is looking at. And we had tried to make every effort in this budget, and as I stated earlier, I think this is a fiscally responsible budget. There is no fluff. There's no wiggle room. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say fluff. There is no wiggle room in this budget, I don't believe. I think, and we are going to do our best as the fiscal 2020 progresses to make sure that we are sticking to the budget and possibly saving money within the budget to add to our deficit plan. Any other public comment? Absolutely, not a problem. You keep us honest, Greg.
Greg Dickomitas, 44 DeSoto Street. Well, I'm glad to see this $282,000 $500,000 deficit is down from the $400,000 we discussed at a previous
months ago.
meeting. What is the deficit that we're looking at right now for this year? Do we have a final number yet?
Possibly,
I don't know if I'm supposed to go this way or this
No,
way.
you can ask.
Okay.
possibly 100,000, if I'm right. It's
I'll
a
take your word
projection.
for it.
We have a couple months.
You don't know
to
until
go.
the auditor,
Right, and the auditors come in and they make some more adjustments, which could help us or hurt us, either way, so.
I'm just going back to, the reason why I'm bringing that up also is because of the TANs. That the 500,000 that we want to go for the TANs. It's almost like we're kicking it down the road again. And I get that. I'm just, we're operating on deficit, and there's still nothing, as of yet, stated what we're going to do with the deficit. Now, we've been hearing quite some time, since the auditor started this, that it's going to be 4% every year for the next 5 years. And again, I'm going to bring it up. We got to do something, and I know there's no wiggle room in the budget. I get it. But the deficit is still a deficit, and we have to get out of this hole. And I'll say it again, the city, if they could have done a 4% increase, they would have asked for the maximum. It sounds to me, without everything being put on the table right now, that we're looking at the maximum possible increase. And what's that?
What do you mean?
Tax increase?
Tax increase,
Tax
yes.
increase.
Sorry.
4%.
Well, you're going 4%. Well, that's a lot. Again,
I'd love to go
it's,
2%.
what's that?
I'd love to go as low as possible, but the Auditor General has instructed us, I believe, right?
It was a suggestion, it wasn't instruction. It was a,
Yeah, they don't
Sorry.
instruct us.
I just want, well, I want to be clear.
I know, that was a suggestion, that was never instruction.
Okay, I understand.
So, again, I'm putting this all out on the table. Again, I don't know how we get out of it. I'm not a numbers guy. I just look at what's printed on a piece of paper. But again, everybody knows in this town, like rumors start, we're doing 4% max, 4% max, 4% max, because that's what somebody else told us to do. Again, I'm not sure that's a correct thing. And I just want to bring it to everybody's attention.
Thank you.
Thanks. I promise that's the last one.
Any further discussion? Is there a motion on the table to adjourn? Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Kutsiani,
Second.
second by Commissioner Hogan. Any discussion? All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.